The little squares on the Zoom screen flickered as each family member joined, faces popping in with artificial smiles and forced cheer. It was supposed to be a simple family meeting about Lily's graduation ceremony, something that should have been warm and uncomplicated. But nothing in our family ever was. I logged in with the same sense of obligation that had followed me for years, an inherited weight no one else seemed to carry. Mom was already there, sitting in her overly decorated living room like she was about to host a televised interview, her lips pressed into a tight, self-important smile. Dad hovered behind her, pretending to adjust something on the shelf just so he didn't have to look directly at the camera yet. Lily joined quietly, her face lighting up with a soft smile when she noticed me. "Hey," she mouthed, waving gently. She was the only reason I still tried, the only one who never asked for more than I could give, even when I gave her everything. Over the years, as our parents' constant financial failures piled up, I stepped in. I paid for her books, her laptop, her rent when work hours got cut. Mom and Dad always made it sound like a team effort. "We raised her, you just send money." But we all knew the truth. Without me, there wouldn't have been a graduation to plan. The conversation started normally enough. Aunt Jenna asked Lily how she felt about walking the stage, and Lily answered with her usual gentle enthusiasm. But the shift happened slowly, like a door creaking shut. Mom cleared her throat in that way she did before delivering something rehearsed. "So," she began, adjusting her camera for the third time, "your father and I have been talking about the ceremony, and we just want it to be peaceful." I raised an eyebrow. "Peaceful? Why wouldn't it be?" Her eyes darted away. Dad inhaled sharply, readying himself for whatever she was about to say. "We've decided," she continued, voice growing stiff, "that it's better if you don't attend." For a moment, the world stilled. The hum of my laptop fan grew louder, drowning the ringing in my ears. I leaned slightly forward, unable to process what I just heard. "Excuse me?" Mom didn't look at me. "You always make things about you," she said, rehearsed, deliberate. "You overshadow your sister, and this day is about her. We don't want any drama. We don't want to see your face at her graduation." The words cut deep, not because they were loud, but because they were spoken with such icy finality. Lily's eyes widened, hurt and confusion spilling across her screen. "Mom, why would you say that?" She stammered, but Mom ignored her. I should have yelled. I should have defended myself. But instead, a strange calm washed over me, a clarity I hadn't felt in years. My voice came out even, almost too steady. "Then you'll never see my money again." Their faces shifted instantly, shock, panic, disbelief, but I didn't wait for their rebuttals. I reached forward, clicked mute, and then ended the call. The moment the screen went dark, something inside me broke, and something else finally woke up. The morning after the Zoom call felt strangely quiet, almost suspended, as if the world itself was waiting to see what I would do next. I woke up feeling hollow, drained, but underneath that emptiness was a sharp thread of resolve. My parents had made themselves perfectly clear the night before, and for the first time in my life, I was ready to take them at their word. There would be no more excuses, no more bending until I broke. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the faint sunlight spilling through the curtains, and realized I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. My phone buzzed repeatedly on the nightstand with missed calls and messages, but I didn't touch it, not yet. Instead, I opened my laptop and signed into the financial portal I had memorized like second nature. The tuition plan, the same one I'd quietly maintained for 4 years, sat at the top of the dashboard, neatly organized with upcoming payments, scheduled withdrawals and contribution records all under my name. Every dollar that kept Lily in school had come from me. Every sacrifice, every late night of overtime, every canceled vacation had led to this account. My cursor hovered over the Manage Plan button for a moment, not out of hesitation, but because I wanted to feel the weight of the moment. Then, with a single click, I opened the options and selected Cancel Future Payments. A small window popped up asking for confirmation. I didn't blink. I clicked Confirm. Just like that, the financial artery that fed their image, my parents' favorite bragging point, was cut. The silence after the cancellation was oddly comforting. No alarms, no fireworks, just a quiet shift in the balance of power I'd unknowingly held all along. Next came the credit cards. Over the years, my parents had gotten used to slipping their expenses onto my accounts under the guise of family emergencies. Somehow, the emergencies always aligned with vacations, spontaneous home upgrades, or luxury items that mysteriously appeared at their house. They weren't irresponsible, they were entitled. And like a fool, I'd allowed it. I opened the credit provider's website. One by one, I pulled up each card I owned. And one by one, I removed their authorized user profiles. Their names vanished from the accounts like they had never been there at all. Then I canceled 2 cards entirely, the ones they favored most, the ones with the highest limits. With each cancellation confirmation, a piece of the burden I'd carried for years slipped off my shoulders. By noon, the frantic calls started, Mom first, then Dad, then both together. I let the phone ring. When I finally checked my messages, they were flooding in like a storm. Why are the cards declining? There's an issue with the tuition plan, you need to fix this. We know you're upset, but don't be childish. You're ruining everything. Call us back, Rajekti no do. I set the phone face down and walked to my kitchen to make coffee. The aroma filled the silence, warm and grounding. It felt good to take care of something that wasn't draining me. Flashbacks drifted in, the arguments about money, the guilt trips, the unspoken expectation that I would always be the one to fix everything while being blamed for anything that went wrong. I realized how deeply I had been conditioned to believe I owed them my life, my time, my resources. But that belief felt thinner now, flimsy and ridiculous in the light of my new clarity. By evening, their messages changed tone, not angry, not accusing, desperate. Please, we can't pay everything. You're being cruel. You know we rely on you. This is your family. But family shouldn't feel like a life sentence. Family shouldn't drain you until there's nothing left. I powered off my phone again, letting the screen fade to black. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Graduation day arrived with a strange mix of heaviness and calm, as if my emotions had finally reached a truce. I woke up earlier than usual, not out of excitement, but because my mind had been buzzing all night. I knew I wasn't going. I had replayed the idea of showing up anyway, of sitting quietly in the audience and celebrating Lily from afar, but the echo of my mother's words still burned too sharply. We don't want to see your face. That wasn't something you said accidentally. That wasn't something you said to someone you loved. That was a boundary they drew, and for once, I had no intention of crossing a line they themselves had carved. I made coffee and settled onto my couch, pulling up the livestream link Lily had forwarded to me weeks ago with a string of excited emojis. It felt bittersweet to click it now. The screen opened to the inside of the auditorium, rows of polished chairs, proud families clustering together, camera flashes popping like fireflies. I scanned the crowd, wondering if I would spot my parents. It didn't take long. They were sitting stiffly near the front, dressed in outfits I knew they couldn't afford without the cards they had been using behind my back. Even through the low-resolution stream, they looked exhausted, tension clinging to them like heavy fabric. I wondered if they had managed to pay the surprise tuition balance I created by canceling the plan. Judging by their strained expressions, it hadn't been easy. For once, the consequences of their choices fell on them, not me. It should have brought satisfaction, but instead, the feeling that sat in my chest was something softer, quieter, peace, maybe, or release. The announcer began calling names. Students walked up one by one, caps bobbing, tassels swinging. I watched them all with a strange sense of distance, like I was witnessing a world I had stepped out of. Then I saw her. Lily, my breath caught. She looked beautiful, nervous and radiant at the same time, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Her gown swayed with each careful step. Her honor cords shimmered in the stage lights, the same cords I bought for her with a triumphant grin months ago when she sent me her final grades. She had worked so hard for this moment, pushing herself through late, night study sessions, juggling part-time jobs, and surviving the emotional chaos of our family. When her name echoed through the auditorium, she almost startled, then stepped forward with a small, proud smile. She accepted her diploma, shaking hands, posing for the photo, her expression glowing with accomplishment. I felt tears slip down my cheeks, but they weren't sad. They were the kind of tears that come from seeing someone you love become exactly who they were meant to be. The camera panned briefly past our parents. Mom wiped her eyes, but her tight mouth betrayed more stress than pride. Dad clapped stiffly. Anyone else watching the live stream would think they were simply emotional, moved by the moment. But I saw the undercurrent, the panic simmering beneath the surface, the fear of what their financial world looked like now that their silent provider had walked away. The ceremony continued, applause rising and falling like waves. But my attention stayed on Lily, on the quiet grace she carried even as her world, like mine, shifted in ways she couldn't yet see. I wished I could tell her everything. I wished I could be there cheering loudly for her like she deserved. But showing up would have been breaking my own heart all over again. When the live stream ended, I sat for a long time staring at the blank screen. The auditorium faded out, but the image of Lily's proud smile stayed bright in my mind. She walked the stage, confident and hopeful, stepping toward a future she had earned through her own determination. I stood up slowly, feeling the final pieces inside me settle into place. Today wasn't just her graduation, it was my own moment of clarity. A door closing and another quietly opening. I began packing my things not because I was running, but because I was finally ready to walk forward too. While Lily walked the stage, I walked away from the life that had drained me. And for the first time, the distance didn't feel like loss, it felt like freedom. The calls started the moment the graduation ceremony ended, their numbers lighting up my phone with the same frantic urgency they had always reserved for emergencies, except this time I wasn't the emergency. They were. I didn't answer. I let the phone buzz on the counter while I continued folding clothes into the worn suitcase I hadn't touched in years. Every ring, every vibration felt like the echo of the life I was leaving behind, a life built on obligation and manipulation disguised as love. Eventually, the voicemails began. I didn't want to listen, but curiosity tugged at me. The first was my mother, her voice sharp with restrained rage. "I know what you did. They told us the tuition plan was canceled. We almost couldn't get your sister her gown today. How could you be so selfish?" Selfish. The word made me laugh under my breath. After everything I'd paid for, after every late bill of theirs I covered, after funding an education they took full credit for, selfish. The next voicemail was from my father, louder, angrier. "You don't get to cut us off! We raised you! We sacrificed for you!" His voice cracked slightly on the last word, not from emotion but from the realization that anger alone wasn't going to bring me back this time. I deleted both messages without finishing them. But the third voicemail made me pause. It was softer, hesitant. "Hey," Lily said, her voice trembling. "I don't know what happened. Mom's saying it's your fault things got messy today. I don't believe her. I hope you're okay. And I wanted to say thank you for everything you've ever done for me. I know more than you think." That message broke me open in a way the others never could. She didn't deserve any of this. She never asked for it. For a moment, I considered calling her, explaining everything, reassuring her. But part of loving someone sometimes meant stepping back, letting them have their own space to grow, away from the battlefield our parents had created. I sent her a simple text, "I'm proud of you. Always." Then I turned my phone off again. With the suitcase zipped and ready, I walked through my apartment slowly, touching the back of the couch, the edge of the kitchen counter, the door frame, small rituals of goodbye. My life until now had been shaped by the demands of people who took until there was nothing left of me but responsibility. But today felt like a clean slate, a chance to reclaim the parts of myself I'd handed over without realizing the cost. As I stepped out into the hallway, the sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow through the windows. It felt symbolic, the ending of a day that had changed everything. Outside, the air smelled like summer rain, fresh and unfamiliar, like possibility. I breathed it in deeply, realizing just how long it had been since I'd done anything simply because I wanted to. My phone buzzed one last time in my pocket, another call from my mother. I didn't even look at the screen as I powered it off completely. I walked down the steps, each one lighter than the last, leaving behind a version of myself who had been taught that love meant sacrifice, even when no one sacrificed for me. She walked the stage today, stepping into her own future, and I walked away from the past that had chained me for far too long. For the first time I wasn't running, I was choosing myself.